You ain't got a right to tell us how to worship, so let's tell the government to get up out our churches. We ain't choking no more, telling my hopes in the Lord. The time for speaking is past, it's time to open the doors. You ain't got no right to tell us how to worship, so let's tell the government to get up out our service. We ain't choking no more, telling my hopes in the Lord. The time for speaking is past, so let's reopen the doors.
All right, guys, I am here for part 2. It says there's 0 people watching, but there's already someone commenting. Guys, we are still talking about this horrendous website. Sorry, I made it full screen. As you can see, there's a picture of a cute baby. So anyway, guys, as I was trying to say, and hopefully my sound quality is better. This worldview, it's ungodly. It comes from Satan. Think about they're trying to say. They want to stop the production of all image bearers. They want you to not have any more kids and thus not fulfill biblical mandate to be fruitful and multiply. Now, some could say that there's a New Testament version of that out and evangelizing and making disciples of all nations. But there's a biblical principle that having children is a blessing. Always. So what I'd really like to look at with you guys, actually, just one more thing. Did I take a look? There's one more thing I want to get to before I go to my final verse. And guys, if you're just listening or watching this episode, please understand that this is not an episode. This is just the end of this episode. There's an echo. Why is there an echo? Don't stress me out, man. Don't stress me out. Anyway, guys, we've been having technical difficulties. I'm not sure how to fix them. Maybe we'll wiggle some cords. Wiggling cords always help. Turn a volume on something. Fight through it, man. Nothing to carry on. So I think it's too loud. It's better now. I didn't do anything. I do feel like this is too loud, so I'm going back to this a setting. So anyway, maybe Paula, you should turn your volume down because I'm always the right volume, right? So there. Psalm 139, 15 says this. And it's very similar to actually Jeremiah 1, right? For you formed my inward part, wove me in my mother's womb. I will give thanks to you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well. My fruit not hidden from you when I was made in secret, and intricately woven in the depths of the earth. So obviously, probably just means the depths of the womb because it's dark. Now, I don't know that for sure. Obviously, it's talking about being made in your mother's womb. And so the point is that, again, children are a blessing from the God has his hand in the making children, the creation of every child is a work of God. And so these people would want to stop that. And not only that, they would also want to then kill children that have been made in the womb, even though they talk about human rights and not forcing people to be made, but they would then kill those children against their will. How do they know? How do they know if those children don't want to be made? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Oh, guys, I cannot not stop this podcast without making it about eschatology or something, you know? So, here's another blessing that's really interesting. Actually, you know, we'll save this one till the end. I'm going to get there. We're going to look at it, but we're going to go back to the website all enlarged for you guys. So it is usually the case that humans have children for reasons rooted in egocentrism. Those who procreate acknowledge that the future person they are creating may not want to be born and may one day wish they had never been born. At its core, voluntarily having children is a selfish act that doesn't adequately consider the interests of future life and all existing life. Okay. So again, they don't acknowledge that the future person they're creating may not want to be born. So they're giving this person right to choose before they come into existence. But they believe that aborting babies is okay. Think about that. They're worried about the human rights of someone who doesn't exist. They're a fictional character at this point. They do not exist. They're worried about their right to choose to exist. Not worried about the baby's right to exist after it's been made. Maybe that baby will grow up and decide, hey, I do want to live. Where's their rights? It's nonsense. This is a Romans 1 world in effect. This is Genesis. That's the wrong. Can't remember the verse. But this is the world, good, evil, and evil, good. This is nonsense. So much of what drives people to have kids in the first place is fear and anxious. The reason we have children is fear and anxiousness. Let's see some of these reasons. Some of the top reasons humans choose to have biological children. Okay, here we go. Give purpose and meaning to life. Okay. There are definitely people who would actually fall into this category. They want children because they think it will give them purpose and meaning. But also, you have to make an argument for why wanting to have purpose, meaning through children is a bad thing. Where's your argument? It's bad. Haven't considered an alternative. You haven't considered an alternative to not having kids. I don't even know how to answer these things because they're so preposterous. Have someone who will care for them when they're older. Yeah, what's wrong with that? You don't want that? You want to grow up. You want to grow old, die, and not have anyone there who loves you. That's what you want. You're picking, I guess, because you're so non-selfish. It's just one of the tasks that we're called to do, is to look after the elderly in our lives. Most people do that now even, so what's your problem? I don't know. So, save a failing relationship or solidify a prosperous relationship or trap someone into an ongoing relationship. It's 100% legitimate. Those are real bad reasons to have a kid. Let's just make this clear. Children should be conceived in a marriage between them, and to clarify that, even in my own head, just shows you how far we are. That I have the need to explain that it's between a man and a woman. You can only have children if there's a man and a woman, right? Okay. Boredom with existence. So here's the problem. I'm sure that these things are real. There's someone walking around right now that's like, man, I sure am bored with my existence. I think having children would be awesome. Trust me, if you have 3 kids and up, you'll never be bored again. And so it does cure boredom. A desire to relive childhood. Okay. Again, why is it wrong to relive your childhood? Now, I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is where's their arguments? Are we going to get a list of sound arguments as to why these are all bad reasons? Meeting the expectation of others is another reason to have children. Very true. That could very well be true. Some people probably do have to meet others' expectations. Now, you would then have to show why it's right to not have kids. This argument or this reason for having kids is not a great reason to have kids, but I would love to ask this theoretical why don't you want to have kids anyway? Okay. Continue one's legacy, genetics, bloodline, family name. With those things, why is that? That's selfish. It's selfish to pass on your genetics, to want up your genetics and your name. You don't want the next generation to go. Create a fantasized happy family. Yeah, like most of these are bad reasons to have kids. I'm sure that there's some people that think like this. So you should not create a fantasized happy family in your own mind. Now the reason that you shouldn't do this though is not for any stupid reason that they have. You should not have kids for the reason of having a fantasized happily, because you will be putting expectations on those kids that they can't meet. Your kids are going to cry at funerals. Your kids are going to interrupt church. Your kids are going to scream their face off in the middle of the best part of a movie you want to watch. Your kids are going to stop from being intimate with your spouse. Like, if you fantasize about a perfect family and so you need kids to complete that, move along. Because you're not going to have that. There are happy families, sure. But an idealized version of that, you should not be idealizing having children, because you're in for a rude awakening. That being said, one of the reasons we have kids as Christians is to sanctify us, to teach us to die to self, because selfishness needs to be ripped from you when you have children. I got that from James White. He said marriage is practice for having children, because when you have children, all of your selfishness will be ripped from, because you'll have no choice but to not be selfish, right? Right? Okay, let's get to the next one. I love it. Make holiday gatherings extra full. Extra cheerful, because Christmas without a kid around is cheerful at all anyway. Now, I understand. You know what? You know what? Call me then. I don't even care. I'm selfish. Selfish. I love having kids around for holiday gatherings. It is awesome. I had them for them actually. When I married my wife, I said, "Look, I have children with you, Nicole. But the reason I want to have children, the main reason, is so that Christmas mornings will be more fun again. And if you can't get on board with that, then we can be together." That's what I said. Right? Like, who thinks about this stuff? When I say there's no one out there that thinks like this, I mean, I'm sure that person exists somewhere. Oh, fit in with others who have kids. There may be a longing in people who have tried to have kids and have never been successful, and they might feel like they don't fit in with people who have kids. And I would say that it's not about that. Don't worry about those things. Don't be stressed if you don't have kids, especially Christian community. And see, I'm immediately applying this to a Christian context, and obviously I can't do that. There are probably people that feel like, man, I wish I could go to this mother's group, but I have kids, so I can't go to this group. But that isn't a reason not to have kids. It's not a reason to be. Like you should have kids to fulfill your own desires. We have kids because we're supposed to. It's what mankind has called to do since the beginning. That's the reason. And any reason to have kids, like some of these are selfish reasons. Wow, look at this one. Okay, no, hold on. Fulfill a traditional gender role. So they're basically saying that like a wife wanting to have a baby so they can be like or a stay-at-home mom is selfish. Think about that. Think about this. You give birth to a child. You don't send them to public school. They're not being raised, taught by anyone but you. Let's go with homeschooling, right? You're the one raising that kid. Is it not more selfish to have a child and then pawn someone else all day? And I'm not saying I hate and all that, but I'm not saying if you put your kids in school, like a private school or anything like that, and other people look after your kid during the day, that's inherently wrong. What I'm saying is they're arguing that fulfilling a traditional gender role is selfish. But if you have kids and pawn them off on other people, give them over people all day so that you can work or whatever other reason, so you can have rest at home, that would be more selfish. I don't know what other reasons people take their kids to daycare or put them in school. Also, anyone in here who is raising their children by themselves, right? So just be careful with that. I don't want to get an angry comment or something. Okay, here's the best one. For labor or profit potential. So I mean, yeah, yes, I agree with you. Stop having kids.org. Having children so you can make them and coal is bad. You should not be having kids so that you can make money off them for any reason. I agree. Okay, next one. To be happy and content with life. Listen up. Newsflash. If you're having kids to be happy and content with life, you got another coming to you. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be content with life, especially if you're looking to your kids for that. You will be frustrated and disappointed. That's why you need to have children and then look to Christ for your happiness and contentness. He is the one who gives you life. He is the one that will make you happy. He is the one who will bring you peace. So, oh my goodness. To have a miniature version of themselves, someone to control and possess. So I feel like those are two different reasons. Because when I think of to have a miniature version of myself, I look at my second child. And yeah, it is pretty satisfying having him run around and look just like me. It's pretty cute. I have a matching flannel shirt for him that we wear sometimes so that we look the same even more. And then also, when I put him side by side with my father, they look exactly the same as little kids. They have the same head shape and everything. It's very adorable, very adorable. So I don't know why that would be a bad thing, but like I don't think anyone is having kids going, it would be really sweet. This is the reason I want to have kids because I want a tiny version of myself. Now moving on to the next part, someone to control and possess. Yeah, I would imagine there's children conceived for the reasons that other people can control them and possess them. Yeah, that's real, and it's a bad reason. You should not have kids so that you can possess someone. To have someone who is adorable. That's a great reason to have kids. Which problem is, like, if anything, you can't say that's being selfish to have someone who is cute and adorable because realistically, a blessing for everyone else around you. Have you seen my kids? They're like the cutest thing ever. It would be a shame not to make those children because so many other people are blessed by them. So there. Oh, and then the last one. Fear of regretting not having kids. Well, there's a fear of not having kids, of regretting it. Because there's something down inside of every person that wants to have children. It is in our desire. It is deep in our desires to have children. Cliff is telling me to read Amos 1:13. Let's just go there right now while I'm in between reasons. Amos is in the Minor Prophets, and so good. So I have my thumb indexes on my Bible. Let's see what it says. Amos 1:13. All right, here we go. Thus says Yahweh, for 3 transgressed sons of Ammon, and for 4 I will turn back its punishment. They ripped open the pregnant of Gilead in order to their borders. So that's interesting. So these people, Cliff is comparing to Ammon, the people of Ammon, who God says were literally killing pregnant and their children in the womb so that they could gain more land. Interesting is that these people want to gain more land for the environment because they think all people are a disease or a plague, and they want to make sure that no one is born so that the earth can heal itself, that kind of stuff. So it's advancing the borders for something else is even maybe even dumber. So, oh yeah, so they've got it broken in with all these cute photos. Look at how cute that is. Oh, see how they make like they're not selling it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. Look at 3 kids and a sunset. Doesn't that look like a great time? Don't those... And here's the worst part. Here's the dumbest part. Is all those kids look like they're having a great time too. So what happened to you? Oh, you might have someone come along who didn't want to be born. Well, if you actually treat them like your children, and you raise them and love them, they won't have that. Here, look it. They're wearing matching shirts. See? It's a photo of a guy teaching his son how to ride a bicycle, and they're in one of the most idealized neighborhoods I've ever seen. It's like almost like some sort of cabin-esque, like private, semi-private neighbor that he's teaching his kid to ride a bike in. Like, that looks like a really great. I love that he's also got a football call, because you want sure that he's indoctrinating, that you know that he's indoctrinating his kids with sports while he's not teaching how to ride a bike. And this guy, they want you to think that this guy here teaching his kid to ride is like, I don't know, a Nazi or something. Like, have someone to care for them when they are older. I have never thought I want to make this be so that they can look after me when they're older. Do I think about it now? Yeah, I would like my children to look at older. Is that selfish? Selfish, I guess. This website is nuts. Let's go back to the home page. So, it is a mind-blowing thing to look at this. But guys, the last that I want to take you to is Deuteronomy 30, 1-9, 1-10. But we'll probably just... Oh, wow, I missed it. I always get Deuteronomy and Numbers messed up in my mind. Even though I can sing a song. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua. See, so you can sing that song. Oh my goodness. Cliff is posting stuff from their websites up there just so we can take a look at it. Anyway, guys, I can sing the song. Still can't remember it in order. That is from Seeds Family Worship. Let me just get to Deuteronomy 30. So, really interesting thing about Deuteronomy 30 is this is a blessing that God speaks to Israel. And what it says that's really interesting is in verse 9, it says this. Actually, let's start with 8. He's telling Israel what they shall do, how they will do it, and they will turn back to him and follow him and work. And it says this: and you turn and listen to the voice of Yahweh, and you shall do his command, which I'm commanding you today. Then Yahweh your God will prosper you abundant in all the work of your cattle, and the produce of your ground. For Yahweh will return to rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced fathers, when you listen to the voice of Yahweh your God, to keep his commandment and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, when you return to Yahweh your God with all your heart and soul. Yeah, so verse 9. I'll read verse 9 again. It says this: Then Yahweh your God will prosper you abundantly in all the work of your hand, in the offspring of your body, and in the offspring of your cattle. Okay, so right there, guys, think about that. A sign of Israel's repentance. When they turn back to God, is fruitfulness. They will be blessed in the offspring of their body. And so, what I would like people to understand, what my whole point is with why I'm quoting this, is that biblical worldview. Having children is a sign of being blessed by God. And when Israel turns back to God in mass repentance, they will be blessed in their offspring. What does that mean? That means that they will be having children, healthy children. They will be a fertile people. They will be conceiving children. And I would say probably lots of them, right? So you reject the biblical worldview. God keeps handing you to more sin, and we've seen this is one of my 2 verses, but it is so important that we understand how much of your worldview is affected if you do not believe in God. And so I am just getting there, and I skipped it. Romans 1:18 says that the wrath of God is revealed against ungodliness and unrighteousness of who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Yeah, I heard my audio is messed up as well, which sucks. I'm not really sure what's going on, but that's okay. Yeah, Dwayne, it's been messed up the entire time. Moving on to verse 19, because that which is known about God is evident within them, for God made it evident to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, both his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood and made so that they are without excuse. For even though they knew God, they did glorify him as God or give thanks, but they became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of the incorruptible God for an image in the likeness of corruptible, and of birds and four-footed animals and crawling creatures. Now, what's really important about this is they are also wild-eyed vegans. So they want to eradicate humans, get rid of them, just let them be out of existence, or the opposite of being bred out of existence, right? They just stop breeding, and there will be no more of us. Why? Because they worship the earth. They worship the environment. They've exchanged the truth for a lie, just as 1:18 says. And God has handed them to further insanity as a result. That's what this is showing. And so I'll close this website. Guys, without Jesus Christ, his work on the cross, without you believing in that, without you understanding that God has created you with a purpose to serve Christ, you will be handed over to chaos eventually. This is the alternative. It is Christ or nonsense. And that website was nonsense. So, I'll turn to Christ today, that you would believe on Jesus Christ for the forgiveness of your sin, because you have sinned. Without God's grace, you would be doing what those people are doing, and saying that having children is inherently a bad thing. But repent, turn to Christ, come to him and say, Lord, please forgive me. I want to be saved. I want you to save me. I'm tired of living in insanity. And my friends, with that, I am this episode.